Today, we'll look at how to best care for tomatoes from planting to harvest. Tomatoes typically stay productive in the garden for about 3 months, sometimes longer. Proper care significantly impacts the quantity and quality of our harvest. To achieve a bountiful crop with minimal effort, consistent care and smart practices are key. These methods save hours of work while ensuring healthy, delicious tomatoes. Let's dive in. Tomatoes are heat-loving plants. The ideal temperature range for they grow is between 22 to 27 degrees Celsius, 72 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Low temperatures are a concern, especially in spring after planting and in fall before harvest. Temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, slow plant growth, and prolonged exposure can cause root rot. If growing in a greenhouse, close the doors at night and adjust ventilation. If temperatures drop below 8 degrees Celsius, 46 degrees Fahrenheit, protect tomatoes with a fabric cover. I recommend using a thermometer that records minimum temperatures. Tomatoes also struggle with daytime temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and nighttime temperatures about 24 degrees Celsius, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperatures exceeding 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, are highly stressful for plants. Curling leaves are a common sign of high temperatures as the plant responds to heat stress and insufficient moisture. This phenomenon, known as physiological curling, is a defense mechanism where the plant reduces leaf surface area exposed to the sun to minimize water loss through evaporation. Curling is more common during sudden temperature swings or inadequate watering when roots can't keep up with water demand. Leaves may also yellow as the plant limits water loss, disrupting photosynthesis. High temperatures can cause flowers to drop. Heat stress impairs pollen production and viability, hindering pollination and reducing fruit set. Fruits may suffer from sunburn, developing white or brown spots when exposed to intense sunlight, which lowers their quality. Plants will benefit from regular watering, preferably in the morning, before the hottest period. Mulching the soil is also critical, which we'll cover shortly. During the hottest days, shade plants with a cloth, for example, 70% shading. In greenhouses, ensure adequate and intense ventilation during summer. Be cautious on balconies or in enclosed spaces where temperatures between concrete structures can soar above 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Concrete's high heat capacity radiates warm all night, potentially cooking plants. I recommend using a thermometer that records maximum temperatures. Tomatoes can be attacked by several common pests that threaten growth and yield. The most frequent include aphids, small insects that suck sap from leaves and stems, causing leaf curling and spreading viral diseases. Whiteflies also feed on sap, leaving sticky honeydew that promotes mold growth. Spider mites create fine webs on the undersides of leaves, causing yellowing and leaf drop, especially in hot, dry conditions. To manage pests, conduct regular inspections and use preventive measures like planting companion plants, for example marigolds or basil, or applying nature sprays, for example soapy water or nettle extract. I cover pest protection in more detail in another video. Fungal diseases are a major threat to tomatoes. Most fungi spread through the air, contaminated tools, infected fruit or hands. Do not compost affected plants and disinfect tools. Prevention is the best defense, and if infection occurs, act quickly with a fungicide spray. The most common disease is tomato blight, which causes brown spots on leaves and fruits, especially in wet weather. I discussed this in a separate video. Grey mold appears as a grey coating on stems and fruits. Powdery mildew is another fungal disease identifiable by white powdery spots on leaves. Other tomato diseases include bacterial canker, stolbur, septoria leaf spot, fusarium wilt, mosaic virus, and others. I covered disease protection in more detail in another video. Properly watered tomatoes develop stronger root system, sturdier stems and fruits that don't crack and have full flavor. Tomatoes, as fruiting vegetables, have relatively high water needs, but are susceptible to fungal diseases, so overwatering is undesirable. A single tomato plant uses approximately 3 to 5 liters, 0.8 to 1.3 gallons of water per week. I am a big fan for manual watering, which pairs well with other plant care tasks that need to be done anyway. Petr and I haven't switched to automated irrigation yet, because we don't want to.
Yeah, because my with a watering can doesn't break.
Here are my recommendations for watering tomatoes. Water in the morning, not during intense sun or in the evening. Water at the base, not on the leaves. Water consistently. Adjust watering based on conditions.
Water with happiness.
Proper watering depends on many factors and requires some experience and intuition, but you will get the hang of it. For manual watering, apply about 1 to 3 liters, 0.3 to 0.8 gallons per plant 2 to 3 times a week. Automated irrigation is suitable, but use drip systems, not overhead sprinklers. After planting, water regularly to help tomatoes establish roots. Keep the soil slightly moist but not waterlogged. During growth and fruit formation, plants need the most water. Increase watering, especially on hot days. During fruit ripening, reduce watering slightly to avoid watery fruits and enhance flavor and quality. Sudden heavy watering or rain close to harvest can cause fruit cracking. At all stages, consider the plant and fruit size. Generally, more leaves and larger fruits require more water. In outdoor garden beds, account for rainfall, especially with automated irrigation. Under roof, overhangs, or in greenhouses, water more. In containers, water more frequently as black or small pots dry out quickly. Regular plant checks reveal clear signs of water needs. Leaf curling downward or dropping tips in the afternoon heat are normal responses to warmth. If they don't recover by evening or overnight, it's a clear sign of water deficiency. Slow growth or small, deformed fruits may indicate prolonged drying out and the need for more watering. You can buy a moisture meter, but I think the best method, as Petr told me, is to stick your finger into the soil about 3 to 5 centimeters, 1 to 2 inches. If the soil is dry at this depth, water more.
Yes, and if you cannot stick your finger into the soil, you are doing it wrong.
Fruit cracking occurs when plants experience prolonged water shortage, causing the fruit skins to harden and lose elasticity. Sudden water influx, for example heavy rain or overwatering, causes rapid fruit expansions, but the rigid skin can't stretch quickly enough, leading to cracks. Mulching is a practical way to improve growing conditions for tomatoes while simplifying care. A mulch layer protects the soil surface from temperature fluctuations, keeps it moist and loose longer, and in a thick enough layer, reduce weed growth and disease transmission from soil to lower leaves. This is also the foundation of no-dig gardening. Adding a 5 to 10 centimeters, 2 to 4 inch layer of compost at the start of the season provides natural fertilization through dough. If you don't use compost, you can apply another organic materials like straw, leaves, wood chips, or similar materials. The right growing method greatly enhances plant care. I recommend Single-stand pruning, which improves air circulation around leaves, reducing humidity and fungal spread. It directs the plant's energy to fruit production, improves visibility, and simplifies monitoring and harvesting. This method involves a few simple steps. Check out our other video, where I walk you through each step in detail. Determinate tomatoes need to be tied to a suitable support, ideally at planting or when the plant reaches about 30 to 40 centimeters, 12 to 15.5 inches. Supports keep plants upright and protect them from breaking. Common supports include metal spirals, wooden stake strings in greenhouses, or frames with netting. In Czech Republic, construction rubber or mesh is popular. Any form of shelter protects plants from rain. A roof overhang is sufficient, or grow tomatoes in containers or raised beds on a covered balcony or pergola. Greenhouses are ideal. Ensure shelters don't block light and provide adequate watering. Tomatoes are heavy feeders, requiring ample nutrition. Nitrogen for leaf growth, phosphorus for strong roots and flowers, and potassium for quality fruits. When fertilizing, remember that less is sometimes more. Over-fertilizing with nitrogen leads to lush growth but fewer or watery fruits prone to cracking. It also attracts pests like aphids. Avoid combining too many fertilizers without careful consideration. The goal is to ensure sufficient nutrition in a balanced NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium ratio. The optimal soil pH for tomatoes is 6 to 6.8. Soil that's too acidic, below 6, can limit nutrient uptake, especially calcium. I recommend applying a 5 to 10 centimeters, 2 to 4 inches layer of mature compost in a spring and supplementing with calcium preventively. You can prepare the bed differently, but consider your preparation method when deciding how to fertilize during the season. At planting, you can add a balanced fertilizer, for example NPK 10-10-10, to support the roots and leaves, especially if the bed wasn't adequately prepared. Avoid fertilizing if planting in a substrate that already contains nutrition. I personally don't fertilize at planting. About 2 to 3 weeks after planting, apply the first fertilizer to boost leaf growth and plant vitality. Use a fertilizer high in nitrogen, for example NPK 15-5-5, such as compost, nettle tea, granulated mature, poultry manure, or commercial nitrogen fertilizer. I don't fertilize at this stage, since I use Nordic methods, where compost provides nitrogen and calcium was added during bed preparation. Once tomatoes start flowering and forming fruits, reduce nitrogen and increase phosphorus and potassium. This supports fruit ripening without excessive leaf growth. Choose mineral or universal fertilizers with an NPK ratio like 5-10-10. Look for fertilizers labeled for fruit and flower or fruiting vegetables. I fertilize at the first sign of flowers with a mineral fruit and flower fertilizer. With good care, tomatoes can produce from June to August or longer. With tall enough supports, they can keep fruiting. During this phase, fertilize every 2 to 4 weeks based on plant condition. I typically fertilize twice, around mid-July and mid-August, using granular or liquid fertilizers applied with watering. In early August, you can add a compost layer to the bed, though it's not necessary. For container growing, I use a garden substrate with nutrition for the first few weeks. I add calcium at planting and fertilize about 4 weeks later with a mineral or universal organic fertilizer suitable for fruiting vegetables. Nutrient deficiencies occur when plants lack key nutrients. Common causes and symptoms include nitrogen deficiency, yellowing older leaves, weak growth; phosphorus deficiency, purple tinted leaves, poor flowering; potassium deficiency, brown leaf edges, weak fruits; calcium deficiency, blossom and rot, blackening and the fruit's base, necrosis. Hi, I'm Markéta from Hendilio, and I've been gardening for over 13 years. I share my experience in every video, which Petr and I carefully prepare for you. With us, you'll grow your harvest effortlessly and without chemicals. No more trial and error, give it a try. Now you already know the best ways to care about your tomatoes during season. During the care, you need to think about prevention against blight. Find out how to care for your tomatoes to avoid blight in our other video, so go check it out.